Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from AnthonysCustoms, and for this video, I'm going to be counting down my top 10 Marvel Legends for 2016. You're probably wondering, why are you doing this video so late in 2017? And the answer is simply that I wasn't planning on doing this video at all, but a lot of you asked for it. A bunch of people continually asked for it, so I figured, what the heck? I'll go ahead and do it. And I'm gonna include the Sandman wave because I technically had it before the year's end. I just haven't reviewed it yet. But I'm including them, so they're in my calculations. And here's the thing about the Legends. Aside from the ones that are really bad, all of the good ones are fairly equally good. It's kind of hard to pick the 10 best. So some of these are probably not going to align with the ones you think are the best. There are many good ones. Within the realm of Marvel Legends, there's a wide variety of ones that are at the good end and a wide variety of ones that are at the bad end. So there are a lot of interchangeable ones, but I picked them based on as many objective qualities as I could. And then if I had to, I broke it down using my own personal favors or my own personal opinions, that kind of thing. So without further ado, let's take a look at the list. I'm gonna start off with some honorable mentions just because I didn't feel like leaving them out of the list because I feel like they're pretty good for the most part. The first honorable mention is the new Iron Fist. Now this figure, yes, it's a good Iron Fist figure, but it does reuse a lot of parts and it's not necessarily the best mold for Iron Fist. That longer torso, not the best situation. Could have been a better figure easily, despite the fact that it had good accessories, so it's definitely worth mentioning, but for me, it doesn't quite make it higher up on the list. The next one is the new Punisher figure. Now this is a Punisher figure that I think we've needed for a very long time. It came with some good accessories, it has some pretty good features on the figure itself. The only thing that really held it back for me was sometimes a spotty paint job and the fact that the head sits way too high on the neck. It makes the figure look kind of goofy when it should have been easily corrected and made it a whole lot better. The next honorable mention is the Doctor Strange figure. Now this one is debatable. It could easily go higher on the list and it could easily go lower on the list. I've heard some people say that it has a great likeness, some don't like the likeness, some like the articulation, some don't, that kind of thing. For me, I'm kind of neutral. It does have a ton of sculpt work, but it's all digital sculpting as far as I can tell, so it has a certain toy quality to it rather than collectible. But it does look really nice, I think, and for me, the likeness is good enough. So despite the certain flaws that it has and the very cheesy accessory, it looks good enough that I think it should be on the list in some regard. And the last of the honorable mentions. Now this one goes to one that I was expecting to not like at all, Jackal. The reason he makes the list is because they did all new sculpt work and it's all almost perfect. It's really good sculpt work. I like it a whole bunch. The paint job on this guy though leaves a little bit to be desired. The shading down the center is nice. Should have had shading throughout. That's what keeps him from being up on the list. It's a very cheaply made figure, despite the fact that it has a great sculpt and for the most part really good articulation. Coming in at number 10, we have Silk. Now this one, yes, it reuses a lot of parts, but what it does do, it does so well. I love the paint job on this figure. The webbing with the shading from the gray to the red, it just looks so nice. And we get interchangeable heads that are both very nicely painted and sculpted. It is true that she should look more Asian, but aside from that, this figure is basically the perfect Silk figure. I really like it, and I think you guys probably would too. Coming in at number 9, we have Spider UK. Some people don't like the way the shoulders are, but mine work just fine, and the paint job on this guy is great. But what really sets him apart is the body. The new sculpt is just fantastic. The muscles are very organic, the proportions are nice, and he doesn't have fat ankles anymore. We're starting to see a slight turnaround in the Legends with slightly better proportions, and this guy's a good example of that. Coming in at number 8, we have the new Hobgoblin. The only real complaint I have for this guy is that the shoulders don't work very well, and that I guess technically the glider isn't very good, but that's just an accessory. The figure itself, loads of sculpt work, decent enough paint work, and it's just a very nice addition to the collection. If you didn't have the old Hobgoblin, this is an absolute must-have. Coming in at number 7, we have the Civil War Spider-Man from the 3-pack. Now I know this is a point of some contention in the collecting community. He's not very accurate to the movie. While that's true, they didn't really have a choice. They had to make it based on the earlier versions of the suit that they were originally going to use. So it's not perfect for the movie, no, but the figure, taking it out from that equation, from the movie equation, is really good. Other than that slight likeness issue, it's fantastic. So it's one of the best Spider-Man figures we've had in a long time, really, so he has to make the list. Coming in at number 6, we have Nuke, which is not a character I care about at all. I'm guessing most people aren't that concerned with him, but the figure itself is actually really good. It has a lot of sculpt work, a lot of paint work, and a lot of new parts. One of which is the interchangeable heads, which exemplifies the sculpt and the paint. It looks really good. So even though he's maybe not the most important character in the collection, it's a really solid figure. Coming in at number 5 is Rogue, and this one I think kind of got away from me just because I've wanted a good Rogue figure for so long, and this one is really close to being just what we wanted. It really hits the spot when in terms of the Jim Lee X-Men figures. She looks really good. Sure, she could definitely be better, and that's why she's only in at number 5, but I think for being a Rogue figure, I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do, and they did most of it. It could be better for sure, but it is still really good, and I think anybody really needs to have it in their collection if they're collecting Marvel Legends. Coming in at number 4 is the Ben Reilly Spider-Man / Spider Carnage, and that's pretty much why he made the list. You get 2 figures in one with the interchangeable head and hands, and the core figure itself is actually really well done. We know the body's pretty good, but they executed the paint job very nicely. So if you're a Spider-Man fan or just a Marvel fan in general, this is definitely a good buy. You're getting basically 2 figures for the price of 1. Granted, you have to swap out the parts. Coming in at number 3 is another shocker for me. I was not expecting this. And no, it's not shocker, it's Nico Minoru. I don't know the character, I didn't know her, I knew her even less before, but it's a really good figure. They did a great job adding paint and sculpt and a great, reasonable, functional accessory. Having the interchangeable arm and the weapon, you just can't beat it. It's a really, really great figure, and even if you don't know the character, do yourself a favor, pick up the figure and do a little bit of research. It's worth having in your collection. Coming in at number 2, we have the movie Black Panther. Now this figure does lack some paint, but the sculpt is really, really great. It's not perfect, we have a couple of issues here and there, mostly related to articulation, but the sculpt and the detail, the level of detail in this thing really sets it apart. It's arguably better than the SH Figure Arts. I mean, sure, they both have some downsides and some positives, but this is a really, really good showing from Marvel Legends, so if you're collecting the movie figures in any capacity, this has to make it on your list. And coming in at number 1, this one's going to be controversial, but I say number 1 is the Taskmaster. The reason being that it employs some really nice things. The only thing that I don't like about it is that it reuses the holsters. Yes, we have Z's on him where we shouldn't have them from Zemo, but the figure itself is just so nice. We have a lot of new sculpt work, a lot of really nice paint work, and we have some really nice new engineering. We have ball hinges for the ankles, which help this guy so much, and interchangeable heads, and some nice accessories. I think it's the whole package. I don't know why you wouldn't like this figure other than you really don't like the letter Z on his belt. That's really it. It's such a nice figure, so I have to give the number 1 spot to him. So there it is, guys. There's my top 10 Marvel Legends list. Wasn't expecting to make one, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and you can let me know which you think are the top 10. I'm sure the lists are going to vary greatly, so that'll be interesting to see. So make sure you put that in the comment section below, and make sure you subscribe. That would be great, because I have new videos up every single day. So go ahead and click that subscribe button. Click the little bell next to it. Make sure you have notifications turned on so you can see when I upload a new video. And in the meantime, keep collecting.